Is this the mic I got? Alright. What's up, everybody? Fucking ready? Let's go. My name is Brady, and I'm pumped to be here. It's nice to have a crowd. The food was great. I absolutely loved it. Everybody else enjoy the food? It was good shit. Give it up. Give it up for the kitchen. I love food. Probably a little obsessively. And I've been trying to eat healthier lately. And my wife helps with that, which is a little crazy because she doesn't cook at all. But I have watched her kill untold numbers of houseplants over the last 15 years. She does not discriminate amongst her victims. Death will come to all. Like a botanical assassin, she will take your leftover funeral plan and ensure it does not end quickly. I've begun to fear it will never stop. And wonder, if I let myself go, is this my future? You know? Again, I want to reiterate, she's a wonderful person. I love her. And I do believe that she comes in all this floral homicide from a good place in her heart. But that's where her love for me comes from. So I'm eating healthy. Before that good place in her heart only remembers to water me when company comes over. Do we have any fellow houseplant killers here? No, he called you out quick. They usually don't know it until someone tells them. Like, we should probably stop killing all these houseplants, you know? God, I do love her. I love her. I also love this country. Do we have any USA lovers in here? Yeah! Let's give it up for this country. Freedom, baby! I love it. I love it. Like freedom of speech that we're celebrating here tonight. It's great. Another freedom that I love is freedom of religion. Do we have any religious people here tonight? Any Catholics,
Spiritual.
Muslims, spiritual, atheists? You know what? I love it. I think it's awesome that we can choose whatever religion we want in this country. You know, I think it's awesome. And we're happy for people when they find peace in those religions. We're happy. But if you become too religious, we're also happy to send the ATF to burn your fucking house down. Right? Freedom! Woo! So be safe. Don't pray too hard. I was raised religious. Anybody else here that was raised religious? Yeah. Nobody talked to us about sex. Nothing. I got most of my sex talk from church, which was just, don't do it until you're married, and the youth pastor reciting confusing Bible verses damning masturbation, or as God prefers it, the spilling of one's seed. Now, one verse I always remember is Genesis 38, 7 through 10. And this is where Judah has his oldest son killed by God because his son was wicked. So Judah commands his younger son, Onan, to have sex with his dead brother's wife so she can have babies. Onan's not cool with this. So instead of busting inside of his dead brother's wife, he pulls out and spills on the floor. This angers God, but only because he spilled his seed. And God causes Onan to die. So, it would seem that God's cool with adultery with your dead brother's wife as long as you don't pull out. Well, maybe we were quick to judge Hunter Biden. You know, they're a religious family. Surely he knows about God's no pulling out when fucking your dead brother's wife rule. He's good. That joke works when you know that Hunter Biden fucked his dead brother's wife. So, we got a lot of Hunter Biden fans. Now, because of the fear my youth pastor and the Word of God put into my dick, I was pretty spill-free until right after I turned 16. When, like a skinny, less talented Tim Tebow, I returned from a mission trip to Mexico, where I met a girl who was on this trip, and we started to talk. This was a big deal. I was an overly religious teen with acne braces and a mullet. There were not many interested. Well, she says to me one night on the phone, "I've been praying, and God told me He doesn't want us to be together." And she hung up. My world was shattered. I had been loyal to God my whole life to this point. And the first chance he gets, he fucking cockblocks me. So to get back at him, you know what I was doing? Spilling. Like Michael J. Fox eating soup on a roller coaster. That's a lot. Jesus wept. You can picture that spilling. You laughed. Now this mission trip I went on when I was 16, there were parts of it that always seemed a little odd, you know? We did help dig a well and paint a youth building, but what I remember most is hanging a large sheet in the square of this small Mexican town and showing the Passion of the Christ every night for a week. You guys know that movie? It's a tough one to binge. It's not a rom-com. Not at all. I'm not sure why we did it, you know? But these foreign sinners needed saving, so we Netflixed and chilled the Holy Spirit into those bastards for a week. I guess it was to ensure that they got the message. But I'll tell you what, after a week of Jesus being killed, all I was thinking was, man, I'm not sure Mel Gibson likes Jews. But I didn't have long to feel odd, because Tim Tebow soon did an interview with the New York Times about what he does on his mission trips. You see, he gets invited to assist doctors in some medical procedures. He is circumcising young, impoverished boys in the Philippines. And to this day, he doesn't have a medical degree or background. And he goes back all the time through his Tim Tebow Foundation, bringing faith, hope, and love to children, one foreskin at a time. So I don't feel too bad. All we did was force a small Mexican town to watch Mel Gibson direct the Jews to graphically murder Jesus for a week. Tim Tebow is a serial circumciser with zero medical credentials. And they say we made enemies while fighting overseas. I mean, ISIS was bad, but we never sent Tim Tebow to crudely cut their dick skins off. That's a terrifying enemy. It sure does suck for those impoverished Filipino boys, though, doesn't it? You know, with Tim Tebow showing up like the 13th apostle, just riddled with CTE, pushing Jesus like a COVID booster, using his faith to try and hide his insatiable need to peel baby carrots, which we all know don't need to be peeled. Baby carrots are fine right out of the sack. I mean, just imagine Tim Tebow shows up to your village and you're a young, uncircumcised, impoverished Filipino boy. And he's hunting skin like his next Pokemon. and you're also happen to be a Tim Tebow fan. Well, you're about to give a new meaning to the phrase, never meet your heroes. Oh, look! It's Mr. T-Bone! Mr. T-Bone! Mr. T-Bone! Autograph, please, Mr. T-Bone! Mr. T-Bone? Why are you looking at me like that, Mr. T-Bone? No! No, hold me, Mr. T-Bone! No, stop peeping, Mr. T-Bone! No! I don't think we need to wonder why he was a virgin for 32 years. This is a tough hobby to bring up on a date. But it's going to be a good documentary, guys. I can't wait. And I love documentaries. Absolutely do. I binge them all the time. And some of my favorite ones are military ones. Anybody else like military documentaries? It's okay. I think I do because, like Dan said earlier, I'm a veteran. And because I served and fought for Halliburton, I take any injustices that I see in everyday life very seriously. Especially that of equal representation. You know? I mean, for instance, does anybody here struggle with naps like I do? It makes life tough. It's a struggle. You know, living with a national average penis size comes with many struggles in today's society. It's tough. Just recently, I was shopping for dildos. Let me tell you, I did not feel represented. I think dildos need labels on them, letting people know how much bigger they are than the national average penis size. Because trust me, in the moment is not the time you want them learning what the average is. It's fucking terrifying. If you don't believe me, well then you've never found yourself in reverse cowgirl with someone pulling up who thinks they got clearance for 8, but all you got is 6. And if that person on top is drunk, you can say goodbye to their aim as they blindly hammer their body weight onto your dick while you're lying helplessly on your back, trying to stay hard through the fear, knowing you're just one imagined inch away from Broke Dick Mountain. I mean, look at me, guys. Look at me. I'm just bones. If my dick falls out in this situation, it's gonna get the full $1 million baby experience. This is why safe sex for me has always been when I control the thrust. That way, when my dick falls out, it's on my own terms. I cannot complain too much. When you're more represented in the butt plug section, anal sex is not elusive. No. And I'm pretty pumped about the tens of thousands of Chinese immigrants that have been rushing across the southern border lately. Help bring down that average. I do think we have this chance as a country. You know, since 2020, nearly 10 million people have crossed the southern border illegally. Now, I'm not saying let them all in. Well, let's just imagine those 10 million migrants were under 5 inches. I think it's worth the risk. You know, make America feel big again. That's something I can get behind. But not underneath it. Never again. This shit's dumb. It's gonna get better. I do think it is interesting, though, when it comes to penis size, that as it gets smaller and smaller, it finally reaches a point where it's no longer offensive and is just deemed art-worthy. You know, look at Da Vinci's drawing of the perfect man, little penis. Michelangelo's painting the creation of Adam in the Sistine Chapel. Little penis. All the nude Greek statues. Little penis. Millions of people a year visit these great works of art, admiring the art-worthy penis, and are not offended. Not at all. It seems that only when these artists get too long in their brushstrokes that the artwork becomes controversial. Now, through my extensive penis research, I found that the only small-dicked controversial piece of artwork out there is that of Jesus, done by Michelangelo in 1514. But I think that's because we can all agree there's no way Jesus had an art-worthy penis. No way. His whole existence was based on resisting temptation. That's why he wears a loincloth in every crucifixion sculpture you see. God gave his only son the best dick and told him he couldn't use it. Yeah, I'd want to die too. Not on the religious stuff tonight. Well, let's move on to a more opening subject. Like Jesus, I too came here with an important message tonight. Male enhancement pills are fake! It's a trap! Don't do it. Don't do it. But I do think the solution is out there. See, I was on the internet reading about a trans woman who's been shrinking her penis for the last 4 years using hormone therapy. Don't do that! If you want to downsize, I'm looking for an upgrade. I got a bunch of sad dick pics on my phone to prove I'm your guy. I worry trans women are missing out on the dick envy market. That's no snake oil between their legs. And they've been sewing penises on since the 90s. Who here remembers Mr. Bobbitt? Yeah. His wife cut his dick off in 93. She threw it in a field. They sewed that sucker back on and he did 2 pornos. Look it up. It's a little rough. But it worked. Clearly the world's next billionaire is a well-endowed trans woman auctioning off her extra meat online. Dick swap would not only be the next Pornhub category, it'd be our country's next hit show. Think of it. They'd bring a bunch of small-dicked, racist, and bigots together with well-hung trans women of all types, with Tim Tebow's the celebrity circumciser, and the goal of making each other's dreams come true. God, I'd watch it. I think a redistribution of dicks would equal less racism and bigotry in our country as we enter into transracialism, dick first. And guys, I personally think trans women are awesome. It is nice to finally have a group of women that want my penis. And all I'm really trying to say to them tonight is, please, don't shrink your dick. Consider mine instead. Blood type is B positive. Anybody's wondering. I like that one a little bit more. I never thought I would find myself in public begging another woman for their penis, but here we are. Has anybody else ever found themselves in a situation where they had to do something they thought they'd never have to do? Yeah, head nods will work. Usually raise your hands. It's fine. You're doing great. Well, I've grown to believe that who we are and what we're willing to do in life really just depends on the situation. You know? Like, I'm pretty positive that the Donner Party would have proudly declared at the beginning of their trip that they would never eat their family members. But when the situation presented itself, they quickly learned why they had 13 children. Appetizers. You know? To me, it's the same with sexuality. I don't understand declaring it, you know? Mine seems to be more situational than a set thing. For example, if this guy here were to ask me, what would it take for me to suck his dick? I would have to say that depends on my situation, you know? In my current state, I'm gonna need life-changing funds to do it willingly. A lot of money, you know? But if I go 3 days without food and sleep, shit, I'll do it for a cracker. You got it in the cold. I'll do it as long as we cuddle after. This is what military training taught me. Survival. They would tell us things like, nothing's gay if you're trying to stay warm. This led to thoughts like, I'll never quit, I can be gayer. Which is not the best mantra for a heterosexual relationship, but it did help me start to understand all the ancient armies, you know? Like the Spartans. They were cold, hungry, tired, and gone for years at a time. Of course they fucked each other. You know, in Ranger School, by the 3rd day in the cold mountains, I was already sharing my sleeping bag with a strange man to stay warm. You give me another month, I would have been a Spartan. Or at least that guy that'll suck your dick for a cracker. Either way, I'm gonna survive. So, what I'm trying to say is, if you enjoy flipping straights, join the army. They'll get them ready for you. Also, if you've ever done eating a saltine cracker and sucking a dick doesn't sound like a nightmare, you're in survival mode. You need food and sleep immediately. You learn these things, you know, in the military. You learn a lot of things. And it's all taught in a hands-on style, which made it very appealing to me because I learned better hands-on. You know, maybe some of you could relate to that. But I was a little surprised at how much science I learned. You know? Like when one of my fellow soldiers went into heat shock. And we quickly learned that because of science, the best way to measure someone's core temperature is through their ass. And because of the hands-on style, we all stood around our organ-failing comrade as a very excited medic pulled out a large rectal thermometer and made it disappear. Like a reverse sword in the stone. And that poor boy's ass. Now I wish I could say this was the only time. But it happened a lot. It was like they were trying to weed out the werewolves. It became known as the Silver Bullet. Something I do not think Coors was aware of. Because when those trains plow through those walls on their commercials, I get a much different feeling inside than I think they expected. Especially when they added Charles Barkley to the train. They're fucking with me. Oh, that was a rough one. I love it. When I made it to Ranger Battalion, it became a whole nother level of training. As I was being instructed in hand-to-hand combat. You know, slaps to the ears, hammer fists, elbows, learning how to choke each other to sleep. And stuff, you know? But then they sprinkled in some science, telling us that during a fight with the enemy, if you can make their brain experience something new and startling, it'll lag, giving you time for a kill shot. And because of science, this can be achieved with a good stiff thumb in your enemy's asshole. Now, due to the hands-on learning style, this concluded with practice. Talk about making your asshole pucker. Mine was ready to cut rebar. I had some of the nation's top warriors with the stiffest thumbs coming right at me, trying to get me in a sleeper hold, make my asshole hurt. Safe to say I'd never fought so hard in my life, nor have I violated stronger men. All in the name of science. And due to the hands-on style, this training has stuck with me more than I realized it would, and flares up in random scenarios. Like when Fauci came on the scene in 2020, telling the whole nation to just trust the science, I found myself bent over before he could finish the sentence. I didn't know what it was, but due to my training, I knew where that science was going. These flare-ups have also led me to not be in a fistfight since 2009. I refuse to be that guy known around town that if you make him mad, he'll stick a finger in your ass. I gotta keep it caged up, guys. This has ruined any chance I had. Any chance I had being an MMA fighter. But if I was one, I would have been known as the pinworm. I will irritate your ass. I had pinworms when I was 10. My mom and I found out about it in the movie theater. We were watching The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. It's a great movie, great actor. But when that guy is smashing his head against the wall because one of those bugs is eating his brain, remember that scene? Anybody? Anyways, that's when my asshole became so violently itchy that I had to start digging. Like a crackhead who's certain they have more. And when that didn't work, I just flipped up that movie theater seat and I was just working on it. Now, to my surprise, the St. Joe crowd was not fazed. But my mom was quick to say, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Now, in my young mind, I just pointed to the screen. It was pretty obvious to me that one of those bugs was in my ass. She did not deem this an emergency. So I finished that Brendan Fraser masterpiece in absolute terror that a fictional bug was eating me ass first. It's safe to say I got zero sleep that night. And by morning I had an asshole hotter than the sun and redder than a ginger at the beach. By the time we get to the doctor's office, I'm rubbing a fucking hole in his chair. He tells my mother her disgusting son has pinworms. Like a dog who drags his ass in the yard. I'm relieved, but that was short-lived, as he went on to give a startling lesson in suppositories, asking me, "Would you like your mother to help?" Absolutely fucking not! I'm 10. Stick it in my ass myself. Which turned out to be great preparation for my time in the military. I literally wrote that one like a couple weeks ago, so I'll take a few laughs on it. True story. Unlike Jonah, all these are true. So, just so you know, you can envision that asshole, that was mine. It was bad. I will have to say the pinworms were very, very bad. But sometimes I think I would take the worms over my fall allergies. Does anybody else here get wrecked by allergies? Just me? It fucking sucks, guys. You know? And like, I'm also somebody who tries to put myself in other people's shoes. I think it helps us to be kind towards one another. So when that fall allergy season hits me hard, it always makes me think about the other people out there suffering the same or worse congestion than me, but suck dick for a living. It's gotta be torture. I mean, during the ragweed season, I can barely make it through dinner. God, this looks good. I have become extremely empathetic towards sex workers that struggle with hay fever. I can respect that no-quit attitude. You know? I've also realized that there's a lot of money in sex work, and I'm poor. So, maybe I can just piggyback off my situation, you know? My eyes are already puffy and watery. My mouth's always hanging open, because I can't breathe out of my nose. I just need to wear some cheap mascara. Start an OnlyFans page. Title every picture, post throat fuck. no one will be the wiser. No one. But that's stolen valor. It is. For real though, look me up. If the pollen count is high, new posts will follow. Not only do I get debilitating allergies, I also get a lot of freckles. So surprise, I'm white. Real white. And these freckles are just my skin cells overproducing melanin because I really wasn't born with much. You know, my skin cells have spent the last 35 years trying to correct this poor design. That's why I think it's crazy every time I see a ginger being racist towards black people. Like, hello, our bodies are literally trying to correct themselves to the better suited skin color. Sadly, guys, I think a lot of racism is due to jealousy from us pasty folk who realize that if global warming continues, we're fucked! We do our best work in poor lighting. Really, I think an ice age would be more in our favor. Maybe that's what Michael Jackson was preparing for. He's just a doomsday prepper. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I like listening to rap, R&B, hip-hop, you know? But I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what the difference is between the three. But the only thing I do know about these mysterious genres is that my favorite artist is Too Short. Anyone else here like Too Short? Yeah! Even though he tells me in nearly every song how his dick is bigger than mine and he's gonna fuck my wife. You know? For instance, he says in the Good Book of Cocktails, chapter 13, verse 2 and 3, I'm short dog, ain't nothing nice. You ever make me mad and I'll fuck your wife. Bitch! I love his music. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, you know? But I don't think I could ever have him over to my house. He's got me on the dick thing. I cannot allow him to make it 2 for 2. You know? I think a lot of these rappers, they could just start a cult on the side. I wrote this 3 months ago. This doesn't hit as well. They all have cults now. I think a lot of these rappers could just start a cult on the side. You know, if you want to fuck everyone's girl, it's a proven route. Proven route. Just try not to pee on it. That's hot and fresh out the kitchen for you guys right there. Man, I keep getting older and it just keeps seeming like my high school dance playlist turns out to be done by sexual predators. Like, there's all of them. Like, each one just keeps coming. You know? I also keep getting older and things about me keep changing. Anybody else have that problem? Things are changing? Some of it sucks. But I love onions now. That's new. That came out of nowhere, but I fucking love them. Crowds are becoming less and less appealing to me. And my commitment to come has dwindled significantly. Now, when I was younger, my dick was hard when the wind blew. If a girl asked me to do something questionable while I was in pursuit of an orgasm, I was gonna do it. I remember saying things like, I'll suck a fart out of her ass. Because back in the days of endless boners, I had no lines in the sand. But as I've gotten older, lines have begun to form. You know? For example, I'm now willing to wait the 5 to 7 days to not have period sex. When I was younger, that was not a barrier. I may have come up as the Joker once or twice. And while I was in the military, I would fly back on breaks, to Missouri. Hang out around a bonfire in a cow pasture. Chase some pussy. Well, after one of these breaks, I was getting ready to leave to go in the airport, but I was delayed. You see, the pasture had provided, and I was getting some in the back seat of a car in the airport parking lot. It was period sex. I didn't care. But the lovely family next to us quickly getting into their van, they cared. As every thrust was like a strike of Mel Gibson's hatchet in The Patriot. And my white t-shirt began to resemble a Jackson Pollock painting. He's a famous splatter painter. Also, if you're a gay man out there not understanding my references, just try to imagine you're painting with a few more earth tones. Now, because I had no change of clothes, this is how I had to walk into the airport. It was pretty noticeable. It looked like I just taped a knife to my penis and raped the Kool-Aid man in the parking lot. Of course, the security guards would know. You can't rape the Kool-Aid man. He only consents. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Luckily, I did not get stopped, which I did think was odd. But it was 2010. They probably just thought I was wearing the newest Affliction t-shirt. This allowed me time to quickly buy a $100 airport hoodie and stash my bloody evidence like a stall baby in the bathroom trash can. Now, I just wait the 5 to 7 days. But I do still wonder, who is that family next to us? Are they okay? Like, I have kids now. How do you explain that? Daddy, is he killing her? It sure looks that way. Quick, in the van! In the van! It's so dumb. That really happened too. We tell true stories here. Now you know why I wait the 5 to 7 days. It's terrifying. Oh my God. So I have kids, like I just alluded to. Does anybody else here have kids? Yes. Yes. I have 2 boys. They're 8 and 11. And my kids, they wipe their own ass. Yeah. Which means I have a washing machine full of tiny pieces of shit. Because we all know kids can't wipe. And us parents, we just put up with it. Because there's nothing worse than wiping someone else's ass. I don't care how much you love them. But if it's not your kid, and you still have to wipe that ass, whew, those wipes. People only have so many of those wipes to give out. I think that's why we read about older people being found in their own filth. They used up all them wipes. I mean, if you came with your significant other tonight, please take a good look at them. How many wipes will they have left for you? Do they work in the healthcare industry? If so, just get used to shitting on yourself. Because till death do us part is great, but I'm fucking done wiping your ass, Kathy! My nephew came over to play recently. Not my kid. And he told me he had to poop. Cool. He's 4. He's got this. Well, after a few minutes, he yells for me. I'm thinking he wants to show me his turd. So I come in. He's standing against the wall. Hands up, legs spread, ass out, looks over his shoulder and says, "Wipe me!" Now, I'm one for letting everyone parent their kids however they want, as long as it doesn't affect me. But it was very clear in this moment that my sister's parenting style was affecting my life. Now in my head I'm thinking, I'm not gonna do this! But I did it. And I told him what a good job he did too. Ensuring myself future soul-sucking endeavors, wiping my nephew's dirty ass. So, between becoming everyone's soulless post-poop bitch and my kids' boxer briefs looking like they were filming Fast 15 in there, I bought a bidet attachment for my toilet, which I had never tried before. I had no previous experience in the area of water sprayed harshly at my asshole. I was just so tired of brown eyes and tiny pieces of shit in my washing machine, I was willing to try anything. Now, I'd always imagined the bidet to be a soothing experience. I took care of that, because I bought the cold water only bidet, like a high pressure cold plunge just for the most tender of holds. The picture on the box was just a man screaming from shock. Ah! And certain penis retraction. It was as soothing as trying to remove mud from your body with a garden hose. If it's not coming off, you just spray harder. Now my pressure control on my cheap bidet has 15 dots on it to represent low to high pressure. I personally never go past dot 5. My balloon knot tends to untie around dot 6 when my bidet goes into enema mode. Not a feature listed in the manual, but damn does it work. It'll turn your daily shit into a late night infomercial. Because wait, there's more! This is perfect for when you want to get a head start on the next morning shit today. It was a good buy. Vin Diesel is no longer ruining my kids' underwear. And my washing machine has stopped discharging wastewater. But it was a learning experience for everyone. For instance, that nephew whose ass I wiped earlier, he came back over. And this time he had to pee. Cool. He's fine. He's got this. He goes in after a few minutes. He yells for me. I'm thinking, shit. He took a poop again. I gotta wipe his ass. Well, I come in. He's standing, naked, soaking wet, hair sticking straight up, crying with absolute terror on his face. Well, my bidet is spraying at max pressure into the open cabinets behind him. So get one for your home. Help teach those monsters to stop touching everything. You know, next time he sees a knob, he'd be like, fuck that. He was terrified. It was funny. Oh, speaking of great products, I was watching TV the other night, and I saw this commercial for Cologuard. Anyone here seen that? Yes, everyone's dancing and singing about putting their poop in a box, then sending it off in the mail to see if they have colon cancer. Man, they make it seem so enjoyable. But what they do is they give the U.S. population an attachment with a diameter of 3.5 inches to poop in. Well, let's see what that looks like. Right there, okay? That's pretty small. Like between my fingers. Do you think you can poop in it? Think on it. I'm gonna keep going. What I know is that I've used a lot of public restrooms in my days, and I'm pretty convinced our population cannot handle smaller toilet holes, let alone dance and sing about it. I struggle to see how this could be enjoyable. I think it might be more like this. Oh look, that colon cancer test came in the mail. That commercial sure looked great. You know, let's see what they sent. Oh, that's cool. That's like a medium potato and legs. I gotta poop in that? Oh, well, it can't be that hard. Let's just look at these directions. Attached to the toilet. Specimen must be no bigger than a walnut. I haven't had a walnut in years. What stage? The nut, the shell on, green off the tree? Doesn't fucking say. Oh well, let's just get this over with. Oh shit, that's way bigger than a walnut. It's on the sides. How am I supposed to get that out? Dad! I gotta go poop real bad! Oh fuck, why don't we have 2 bathrooms? Oh buddy, Daddy's busy! How am I supposed to get this out? Dad! I gotta go poop! Oh buddy, Daddy's trying, buddy! How am I supposed to get this out? Dad, I gotta go, buddy! I'm gonna try! Oh my god! Dad, I gotta go, buddy! As you can see, there was no dancing. Now, once you've completed your reenactment of 2 Girls, 1 Cup solo, you now get to return your specimen. I must warn you, Cologuard requires you to leave your box of shit in a visible location. And they do not take their branding off the return packaging. Finally answering the question of, what's in the box? It's poop. It's poop. And because Cologuard is clearly a joke, they only ship UPS. So when they ask, what can Brown do for you? They can haul our nation's cancer-ridden shit in trucks that reach 140 degrees. It's no wonder those drivers went on strike for air conditioners. That is the same temperature as a porta potty in Afghanistan. Trust me, I know. I masturbated in those. Please think of that if you want to thank me for my service later. That was an unexpected challenge in life, you know. You never grow up thinking, I'm going to masturbate in a desert wartime porta potty someday. It just comes out of nowhere, you know. And speaking of unexpected challenges, I went to the VA hospital recently. It's a fun place. When I was there, they told me that they were going to have to check my prostate. Yeah, I was pretty nervous. This was my first official prostate exam. I was a little unaware of how it was going to go. So when the doctor asked me if I wanted a chaperone, I quickly said yes. And when he came back in with a female chaperone, I was feeling good. You know, like she was going to have my back. So she starts to walk up to me. I'm thinking she's going to say something like, this is what I've gone to school for. My eyes will not leave your asshole. But she looks at me and says, I'm going to be over here facing the wall. Which was clearly code to the doctor to molest this motherfucker. I immediately turned to plead with this strange woman to watch me get fingered. But the doctor was too quick. And he says, bend over the table at the waist. So, with my heart pounding, I bent over the table. I'm thinking, I've done this before, let's just get over it quick. But I knew I had failed when he said, not like that. I paused. It's not like he gave me a pamphlet on how he wanted this to go. So I just bent my knees a little more. This time, he just says no. We do this 3 more times. I straightened my legs back out. I extended my arms. I laid on my stomach for it. The whole time I'm thinking, stick it in! Stick it in! Stick it in! While he's on his knees behind me with a smile on his face, like, no, no, no. I'm sure he threw a thumbs up to the chaperone, but she didn't see it because she was facing the fucking wall! Finally! After being bored with my amateur show, I feel his hand placed gently on my lower back as he guides me into his preferred position and finally inserts. I learned 2 things that day. I do not have colon cancer. And I should have just pooped in the fucking box. So, choose Cologuard. Your only at-home self-molestation kit. I do love this country. They give us a choice. They're like, do you want a finger in your ass? We're like, no, I'll just poop in the box. Love America. If you don't have a reason to love America, that's a reason to love America. Would you like to be molested at the doctor's office or at home? You can choose that. That's this country. I also love our Second Amendment freedoms. Do we have anyone here that loves guns? Do you like your guns? Hell yeah! Let's hear it up for guns, everybody! That's right. I do think that we can all agree, though, that there are some people out there that just shouldn't have them, right? Well, how come if you're on the sexual predator list, you can still buy a van? What are we doing? Somebody here sells cars, and I bet every single one of you knows someone that does sell cars. Can you please tell them to stop selling vans to sexual predators? It's their assault rifle, and they keep giving them upgrades every year. Why do we even have the list if we're not going to use it? I think that we should relegate all the sexual predators to horse and buggy. Really help cut down on the child abduction. Epstein Island would never have existed. It would have been a horse camp in Montana. Sadly, though, guys, we would not be able to trust the Amish anymore. As all of our nation's predators would move near Amish communities to blend in. Sounds terrible. But maybe it's a win-win. See, the Amish have been around our country for 274 years. That's freedom. And they're famous for not accepting new members, yet continuing to have loads of children. It's incest. We get rid of the sexual predators. The Amish get tons of new neighbors eager to help their incest. That's a win-win. A lot of Amish sympathizers in here tonight. Just remember, they believe in their hearts that every single one of you is going to hell. I'm just talking about returning the faith. Oh man, guys, this has been fun. I'm from a small town. You guys from a small town? I'm assuming you are. And because of this, I often wonder what my reputation is in that town. Because I just say all this stuff. My kids go to Catholic school. So I was at a parade recently in my town with my kids. And I was handed this koozie that says, "Don't rape." They didn't give one to anyone else around me. They clearly felt targeted. So, I have been working on my not a rapist vibe lately. If anyone has any tips, please come find me after this. I'll be out by the dumpsters with a horse and buggy. Thanks, guys. My name's Brady. Had a great time. It was awesome. Give it up for Dan.
All right, thank you.